Heavy metal is what revived my love for ancient history. A few years back I came across an article titled The 11 Best Iron Maiden Songs Based on History. Number 1 on that list was Alexander the Great. I remember listening to that song with lyrics opened and thinking, gee, that is some fascinating piece of history. A second later I found myself reading a Wikipedia article on our boy Alex. From then on I somehow transferred to Roman history and was just sucked into it. Unfortunately, Rome does not have the same level of representation in heavy metal music like the Viking Age or other historical periods. At least that's what I thought at first. I was mistaken. Rome is omnipresent in metal. Just maybe not the best metal. Oh, I've listened to some bad music for this one. Well, at least that's my opinion, fueled by my distaste for death and black metal, which seem to be the leading genres when it comes to Roman-themed metal. Still, from that mass of music came forth a few songs that are really pleasant to listen to, or that, despite being death metal, give history justice and thus deserve to be appreciated. Today I'd like to share with you my top 5 choices. The list would have been longer if not for the copyright law. I can't really use any of the songs in my video, so I thought going for more than 5 would just make this whole thing quite boring. However, what I have for you is an accompanying playlist with everything I could find. Be notified that every band on the playlist gets just one song. Some of them, like Exdeo, White Skull, Heimdall and others, have more Roman-themed compositions, or even whole albums inspired by Roman history. Please find a link to the playlist in the description and comments below. Now for the top 5 songs. Number 5. Centurion by Centurion. But which Centurion? You'd be surprised how many bands decided to be named Centurion. Moreover, some of them also have a song named Centurion. That is some serious Centurionception. Let me be a little bit more specific then. The song that I refer to is from a Serbian band. Cheers to my Slavic brothers. It can be found on their 2019 album called Centurion.
Oh my god, bro. Oh, hell no.
The song has a very pleasant, heavy/progressive metal tone. Its fast melody and supplementary vocals can make you feel like part of a century, praising its centurion and fighting not for the glory of Rome, but to make your commanding officer proud. One thing troubles me though. The song implies that there were 100 warriors in a century, which is incorrect for the time period that the band seems to be referring to. The album cover portrays soldiers in plate armor, which was used during the imperial era. Back then, there were only 80 warriors in a full century. Oh yeah, and the song is in Serbian. Number 4. Underworld by Heimdall. Here comes the first Italian band on the list. Heimdall is a power metal band named after a Norse god. With this name, it is not surprising that in the beginning they were mostly playing Viking metal, but in time became inspired by more local folklore. 2013 was a special year as 2 bands, Stormlord and Heimdall, independently released albums inspired by Virgil's Aeneid, an epic Latin poem. Heimdall took a simpler approach, as in their album called Aeneid, every song refers to one of the poem's 12 books. It was hard to pick one song for the list. I would have gone with the Ballad of the Queen, sung from the perspective of Dido suffering from being unhappily in love, if it only had some more harder tones. Underworld does not lack these, and tells a cool story of the hero Aeneas traveling to the land of the dead. That is why it is here in the 4th place. But to be honest, I suggest you go and listen to the whole album. It is very nice. Number 3. I Caligvla by Exdeo. As I said, I don't really like death metal. Why then is this song in 3rd place? It is quite simple. It's good and fitting for the story it tells. The story of maniacal Emperor Caligula. The song's name is a play on the title of Robert Graves' masterpiece book, I, Claudius. It is sung from the perspective of the third emperor of Rome and gives us all the bad reputation of Caligula that comes from the ancient sources. He describes himself as a god and all his subjects as worthless swines, threatening with horrific death any that will defy him. On top of that, the song has a cool music video with Caligula being surrounded by his sisters, whom he... you know. In the video, the band is also dressed in legionary gear. Totally not historically accurate, but still good looking, as it is spiced up by metal fashion. There is a fun story with XDO and their stage costumes. They once went to a stage dressed like this, with eagles as a main element of stage decoration. The crowd seeing it went silent, thinking that the band was trying to glorify the worst part of Germany's history. The audience chilled out only after Maurizio Iacono, XDO's frontman, explained that the decoration refers to the Roman Empire. I love it when music is educational. Number 2. The Roman Empire by White Skull. A girl vocalist, Italian band, power/heavy metal music, lyrics telling the story of simple legionnaires. What else do you need? Nothing really. That song is pretty straightforward, telling us what was the backbone of Caesar's success. That is, his men and a steady supply of money and glory. With it, they were fully devoted to what their chief needed them to do. Sleepless nights, relentless marches and frequent near-death situations? No problemo, as long as there is a prospect of creating a glorious empire in the end and making that sweet dollar. The song comes from an album called Public Glory, Secret Agony, in which all songs are absolute bangers, mostly inspired by the events surrounding transformation of the Roman Republic into an empire. But there are also some ancient Egyptian themes. Again, I suggest you guys listen to the whole album. Number 1. Carpe Diem by Saxon. I am sorry that the number 1 on this list is not a song by an Italian band. But seriously, it is really hard to make better rock or metal music than the British. Especially when we are talking about a band like Saxon that has been making music constantly since the time of the new wave of British heavy metal movement. The song Carpe Diem is relatively new, as it comes from the band's 2022 album bearing the same name. It tells the story of Hadrian's Wall, UK's most iconic Roman monument that gave us incredibly many artifacts. Without these, today's Roman reenactment scene would look completely different. When it comes to a song, it is just plain simple in its lyrics, and that's what makes it cool. You don't need to be an expert on Roman history to understand what the band is singing about. I bet there are a few people out there that were inspired by Carpe Diem to look further and learn more about Rome and its history, just like in my case with Iron Maiden's Alexander the Great. Do you agree with my list of top 5 Roman themed songs? Let me know in the comments. If not, I would like to see what your favorite compositions are. Perhaps you also know of some more songs that could expand the playlist that I put together for this video. Again, I'm waiting for your comments. Lastly, there is one more song I just need to share with you. It is not Roman themed, but still comes from the realm of antiquity. The song in question is a 24-minute metal ballad by Symphony X, and it tells the story of Homer's Odyssey, being cleverly titled The Odyssey. You probably know that feeling when you find a song that you just can't stop replaying. That's what Symphony X's Odyssey became for me. Enough talk. Subscribe if you feel like it. And I wish you a happy song addiction.